Hi, guys. Good morning and happy Sunday to everybody. So, this morning we have another short pill about some of the suggestions I can give you according to what is my experience in terms of this time, in terms of management. And we will talk about the win win negotiation in design, but it can be also in other, of course, in other disciplines, for example, politics, or for example, in the house, in the family, when you have to negotiate something with your mother, your parents, or between your brothers and sisters, or among your peer, your friends. So there is, of course, always a sort of technique we can use, which is, according to my experience, and to those that created this technique, something very, very positive, because it's the best way that we can have. It's the best way we can have some agreements between two parties that in the beginning are not really that close with their visions of what they want to do. So I know that some of you are coming, so I say hello to everybody. Ciao Claudio. Claudio, ma che fai a quest'ora qua? Che cosa guardi? I don't know. Claudio is family. So I don't know if Claudio talks English, if he speaks English, but anyway, I hope so. I hope so for him. Hi guys, ciao Paul and Aditya. Okay, so we will uh, we will start this spiel in that it's called win-win negotiation in design, and it's really touching those that start ciao ciao that are starting their career in management. And you know that when we are in management, it's not just the ability to manage a project, to tell your designers, to tell the engineering departments and other colleagues of the technical platform of a company, of a project, how everybody together make the project. It's also the ability to negotiate what you want to happen in that project. As you know, design is very important when we make any type of product, from a car to any product, because as you know, a good design is not just a good functional product and something that becomes really useful and makes people lives better, okay, but is also adding the emotional element that gives the pleasure to people to appreciate and maybe buy that product. So the emotional element is very important, and the emotional element also creates what we call new trends. I give you an example. Apple design. Everybody fall in love with the iPhone, and the reason is very simple. The iPhone is a special product that, compared to the previous mobile telephone we had, provokes a real emotion in the user when starts touching and discovering how the Apple phone works. Now, the emotion is done, it's given by a combination of two elements. The simplest, pure design, I would say minimalist design, that had been chosen to make this product very revolutionary, in combination with its technology that is able to discover by touching a black screen all sorts of applications and activities and interactions that force our curiosity to be even more curious and discover what we have and appreciate the ergonomic of the telephone, which is very, very intuitive and very, very simple, even if it's activating very complicated applications and complex technology. But it makes everything looks very simple. Now, if we remain on this Apple phone, iPhone example, I would like to ask you, how do you feel? What do you think? What happened when designers met engineers and said, we would like to have a telephone, we want to make a telephone with a black screen and no buttons? In my opinion, it has not been very, very simple for Apple, even if it's a very visionary company, which means that probably they were all on the same boat. They all wanted to do the same thing. But when you transfer this approach, okay, this design approach to a car company, so when we do automobiles, which are much, much more traditional in terms of technology compared to an iPhone, it's a little bit like saying to the engineers, we want to make a car with no wheels. Or, for example, the autonomous car with no steering wheel, no dashboard, just a nice séjour, nice saloon in the car, and we talk and the car goes everywhere. It's very revolutionary. And still, even when we are in such a high degree of opposites, okay, vision of the same product, the only thing that makes that product come to life, it's a good negotiation technique. And in this adventure, design and design managers must learn or must know, if probably they have a natural inner talent in negotiating. Okay, this exists a lot, for example, between lawyers that are able to negotiate a reduction of your of the jail time or stuff like that, because they have the words, the right words, and the right reasonament when they speak, when they talk in front of the court, to convince the jury and convince everybody that they're right and the other one are wrong. That's a negotiation. So, and that's what we call a win-win negotiation. The win-win negotiation, it's win-win, means both parties find in the negotiation agreement things that they like. So if I seduce you with something that I like, but that gives the opportunity to you to also realize what a part of what you want to do, maybe we can find an agreement and I will give up away few things, you do the same, and then we find only the elements left which both of us want. And then we will concentrate on those elements. That will become our priority, and that's called the win-win negotiation. I don't know if I've been clear. Let me see if there are some. Pasquale Denardo, ciao Luciano, però sto telefono di mia cugina. Ok, saluti alla cugina. Io spell negotiation for io spell my spelling. Okay, I will check after the negotiation. Okay, I will I will uh, I will correct the title after if I made a spelling mistake. So now in design, sometimes just like in politics, because ego of people it's extremely strong. Design it's incredible, but it's like that. It's me against you. It's never me with you, because everybody have a lots of ambitions, and everybody wants to move up in the in how can I say, in career. So everybody have tendency to say, I decided this. They accepted what I want to say. I never say that we never say we agreed all together. And that's the very big mistake, because in reality, when we do design, this is exactly a teamwork. So when a good manager is able to negotiate something, it's because he was able to put all people together and agree on a certain type of position. And if he does that, it's also because he's listening to other people's reasons and proposals. And then he makes a synthesis of those proposals. Okay? And when that this proposal becomes one unique proposal, which is the result of everybody's view or almost everybody's view, then we have all the material on the table to negotiate with other people of the company and try to do our best in order to win the position and have the job done. I'll give you an example. Um, when we make the autonomous driving car, it's mainly a technology. So we go to the engineer department, to the advanced design engineer department, and then we say we want to have a car that we don't drive if we don't want to. And of course, in the first meeting, everybody will say, "But this is not possible. What about the other cars? We don't. We should. We need infrastructures. And then, what if we make an accident? What if the insurance will never pay because the insurance cannot decide who was the responsible of the accident because the car had no driver? And then what happens in terms of security, active, and that?" So they start making a big list of how things can be so impossible to reach that the project will never see the light. Then people start reason about what it means, really, autonomous driving. And then we can say that, for example, that this is the beginning of a negotiation, okay? Find the arguments to convince the other party that maybe you are right and that we can find a very nice intent, okay, very nice agreement on some parts. We can say maybe we can fraction, okay, this goal not for the next 10 years, but for the next 30 years. And there are two aspects that are very important, for which the cost is not important, once for all, but the research in technology is the most important. It's to develop the technology that will permit a car to be driven by itself, okay, with no driver. That's the first thing. The second thing, we can decide together a sort of a program on the long run and say, if today we are here where all the cars are driven by humans, maybe here in 5 years or in 10 years, we can have the same cars that have a technology that will give those drivers the possibility to rest on a certain type of roads or freeways, which will be made with an infrastructure, so particular lanes, okay, specific lanes dedicated to this, where only cars that have this same technological aspect can drive. And therefore we start, how can I say, we start dividing the problems, okay, that today we would have, of course. So we go from an impossible thing to do to something that is a little possible to do, which means get some breaks from driving because the car can go for few kilometers, or for example in the traffic, heavy traffic, when we go at 5 kilometers an hour. In I just remember Los Angeles, when I was living over there, it was like that for hours on the freeway, all the cars on the big freeway all together. Then in that case maybe the car can go by herself, because you reduce the risk of accident. You are always in control just in case you need to, but you can rest and smoke a cigarette, I don't know, or a cigar, okay? To have a chat with your friends or check your telephone and write an email. I just give stupid examples, but just to tell you that basically you are not forced to drive, okay? So your feet can be relaxed after hours they are accelerating and braking, okay? And then you, ciao Siddharth. And then what happens? That you can really have your car that is driving by itself, for maybe 30 minutes at 5 kilometers an hour. And the system technology today gives us already the opportunity to do it. And this could be the first step. And we will call it step one. And then we can program a step two, which is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more pushed toward the future life, which can be also when freeway are, I don't know, only on the straight line for kilometers, in particular times, period of the time of the day, where there are not really many cars. And then we can go to a constant speed of 80 kilometers an hour, for example. And then we can make a step three, which is almost 100% driving, self-driving car. And this can happen down here, which probably will be in 15 years, 20 years. So by that time, we know that there will be infrastructure, which means specific lanes on freeways. There will be all the antennas and the electronic technology that will be in every town, every, I don't know, 10 kilometers, to make sure that the connection between cars is possible, between cars and satellites, between cars and the company that is managing this type of technology, that the police will be equipped with the right technology to make sure that they can always stop a car in that condition and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to make all the list of what we encounter as problems. This is just an example where two people talking can find the same level of agreement on a program to make, and not just simply say, we want the self-driving car now for the next 5 years, so we know you can do it, let's do it. And you must listen to us. Okay, so if you do that, it's never gonna work. And this is a little bit what happens in politics in some countries around the world, okay? When you have a very young politicians of a young political party, I think about Italy, for example, where they have also some interesting points to bring to the old politics, but they come with lots of arrogance, and then and not, they are not humble, and they just try to impose what they want because they are young, they think of the future, and the old politicians don't understand anything because they are from the past and all that stuff, and that's never gonna work. And in fact, it doesn't work. Even if they are, since a few years, doing politics professionally inside the parliament, inside the Senate, inside the government building. So in life, we must understand, and in car design as well as in design in general, that in order to manage a project and in order to make sure that what are your instances, what you really want to bring for the team up to the discussion and win a big part of them, you must know how to negotiate, okay, with the other party, that in general in our case are the engineers or those that have the budget, so the money, because maybe they had to spend more money and they don't like. So you have to negotiate to convince people that you're right. But to do so, You have to listen with both ears a lot and judge in your head in a very moderate way what does it mean win your instance. It means to listen to the others and concede some stuff. So, for example, when I have a project, I have a brief, I see what project I have to do, I understand the strong points of a project and the weak points of the project, and other points that people sometimes ignore, those for which I really don't care. So I take all those points that I really don't care, I have my list in my head, and when I see that engineers ask me for those at the beginning I say that it's important, and then I say, okay, go ahead, you take that one, no problem, I give it to you. And it's just a small example in a technique, in strategy that I apply to show what it means and how I can make sure that with all the elements I have, I can get out of that negotiation, of that strategy, the most important point for me. Because we have to understand, and I finish, that if we want to win something, we must be able to negotiate it. If we don't, we will never win. And we will be perceived as people that are very arrogant, not humble at all, and therefore even not so smart, not so intelligent. Okay? Well, I hope that this informative pill of today, Sunday, 1st of September, has been liked by you. Okay? Don't forget, and if you like this short video, please share it. Okay? Thank you very much. And I told you, soon, stay tuned. There will be other short pills video, and I have something very important to tell you about what's gonna happen professionally in my life very soon. Big adventure.